Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes for a great show lined up, and we've got some announcements to make as well, which is going to be very, very interesting. We've got Mike. It looks like he's enjoying the sunny weather down in Brighton there. Hopefully he gets a better signal outside than he does inside. We'll soon find out. And we've got Ian joining at about 1:30. He's had a couple of little things he's had to sort out, and he'll be joining us then. So I'll quickly go through the comments and we'll do the usual stuff. Hi all, please like. Remember to keep comments respectful. Super chats available in the bottom right-hand corner. If you want to donate, join for more 99p, monthly prize draw, and enjoy the show, basically. Leslie's in the house as well. Well done, Cheers. Gary's there. Great to see you, Gary, as always. Jim's in the house. Made it from the start. It makes a change for you, pal. I know he's on the bench, but that's happened to Foden this season. Did he have an injury and just get back into it and basically dropped off? I have no idea. You must be talking to yourselves about that one, even Jim. But yeah, Haaland's on the bench, isn't he? Even lads and lasses, Peter Griffin. Might watch a bit of Family Guy tonight. Magpie Stew, great to see you, mate. Hope you're well. Morgul as well, pal. Love it. A few years all flying in now, which is great to see. I am very well, mate. Very tired, but it's life, isn't it? Plodding on as always. Right. Save the date, guys. If you're in the Northeast or you fancy a trip, it's back. We did this last year. We raised over £3,000. We're doing it again, 3rd of August, Stanley Deaf Club versus a Through Black and White Eyes team. And I can't announce it yet, but I think we've got a very special guest player who's going to be playing. I've just got to wait till Sunday to get it fully confirmed, and then I will let you know all about it. I am very, very, very excited by it. As you can tell, honestly. Bing! This is like better than anything that's going to ever happen in my life. Basically, if this happens on Sunday, I will be absolutely over the moon. I'm going to the game Sunday. Brighton seem to have some kind of voodoo. We're going to go through that. But yes, it's going to be very interesting. Oh, man. I just want Sunday to be here now. Not because of the football, because I want to know if this person's playing. Mike, how are we doing?
I'm all right. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Is that a retro top?
It is. It's the 94-95 season.
Oh, very, very nice. I like it. It looks smart.
Yeah. It's a third kit, so that season.
I love it. Ian's going to join us at about 1:30. He's just had to do a few little things, so would like to hear your perspective from what your manager's been saying recently. It's a tough game on Sunday for Newcastle. Brighton have got the hoodoo over on us. I think the last time we beat you was 2017.
Yeah.
That Mo Diarmi fluke goal in the Championship.
Yeah. I blanked that goal out.
And then Perez scored the winner.
Yeah. And Deck were at that game.
Were they?
That's all I remember. Yeah.
Well, hey, you've got your revenge for going on 8 years now. 7-8 years. You've beaten us every single time we go down there.
You won the title that year, so it's.
Yeah, that means no, though, doesn't it? No one ever brags about winning the championship. It's all about winning.
Yeah.
Just want to get up, and that's what both teams did that season. But it was a freakish goal, wasn't it?
It was
2017.
It was a very weird goal, and we had a few that season. We went to Norwich, and Pritchard hit the bar and the post, and both of them come off the back of Stockdale winning. It's just really odd. It is just. I mean, one in a match, but two in a match was just like weird. So
I just remember it was Atsu who took the shot, and it was literally going to hit the corner flag. It was that bad, and then he just kind of like went, and it just hit his foot and just looped into the top corner, didn't it?
It just looped in. I don't know. We had on the near post, but whoever it might have been. Someone empty or someone. It was someone small anyway. It just
small, yeah.
Them,
The winner was a great goal, though. I remember it was a crossfield pass all the way across, and then worked well, and Perez put it away.
That was a good season. That season, it just kind of went back and forth till the end. I mean, it was but it was literally the last game of the season. You won it, and we drew with Villa.
Yes.
Grealish scored in like the last minute.
Yes. I think it was definitely Atsu, and it was going to hit the corner flag. Hi, pal. Hope you're well. Right, I'm just trying to get up the injury list because your injury list is quite severe again, isn't it? It's getting better.
Yeah, we've got a few players back now, actually. But whether I don't think they start, but I think they'll be in the squad. So players like Lamptey and Veltman, they've been out for a while now. So whether they start or not it remains to be seen. But they don't like to rush them back, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're on the bench.
You've still got Van Hecke out.
Van Hecke's back. He's been cleared to play. So,
has he?
Yeah. He had to miss the last game because of the injury he had against Brentford.
Right. Was it concussion? Was it?
It was. It's a concussion injury. He's staying in the hospital, but he was thankfully all right, and then he's cleared to play. So,
right.
So him and Dunk. Rutter's out, definitely out. And Ferdy, the Turkish guy's out. Kugliaglu, he's out.
Right. Yeah, got that on my list. Webster's
back in training, but he won't be playing on Sunday.
And then the big miss, Pedro, suspended.
Pedro's suspended. He'll be suspended till we play Liverpool, which is second to last game.
Yeah, that was a silly, petulant thing to do.
It was stupid, but totally deserved the red card. So, I mean, he should have got a red card against him before. So, he's got it in him, and that's the one thing that he needs to basically grow up and get out of his game.
Yeah,
because that could cost us getting into Europe, you know. So,
yeah, it's a tight run for Europe. Looking at your recent form, 1 win, 3 losses, 1 draw. Is it down to injuries, or is it just? I mean, you played some decent teams. Obviously, you got beat off Villa, you've got beat off Brentford. Got beat off Palace, which I know is a really hard one to take for you. It's your derby. You beat West Ham 3-2. That was a bit of a ding-dong of a game. But your draw with Leicester was a really poor result. Is that down to injuries, that game? I watched a lot of that game.
I think some of it, because he's been playing basically Weaver, who's a holding midfielder at full-back, and he played Belieber at centre-back for both of them games, and Belieber is basically our main holding midfielder. So you put him at centre back, you lose something in the midfield. So some of it, but some of it's due to, I think, Hösler, and it's his first season and he's learning. I've always said that I'd judge Hösler on next season rather than this season. So some of it, yes, injuries definitely. You don't get that many injuries in key positions, and you know, are able to kind of shrug that away. But on the other hand, you can't blame it just on injuries, because Leicester, we're winning, and then let it go, you know. And Leicester, as we know, have been pretty poor all season. So that side of it is a game we should. It's the story of the season. They're games we should have killed off, and we didn't. We had a few that we were Leicester away. We were 2-0 up, threw that away, ended up 2-2. Same with Wolves at home. So there's been a few of those which have been frustrating, along with obviously the 7-0 against Forest.
That was a weird one, because then you went out the next week and then battered another team, didn't you?
So that was tactics. Yeah, so Bournemouth beat them and we beat Bournemouth, and then we got stuffed by Forest. It was, but I would say that was the main game where I questioned his tactics, because he played a very attacking formation, and against a team that just thrives on counter-attacking football, it just seemed a bit suicidal. So we're a bit more compact with them in the FA Cup, but without creating much. So that was a bit of a rubbish game. And I think that was to do with players coming back from international football. We got lots of South American players who come back from South America and literally had a sort of 2 or 3 days to recover. And that kind of cost us with that quarter-final. But, you know, Forest are a good team, well organised. So I'm not... But, yeah, 7-0, it's every time they come forward, they scored. And the thing that kind of got me is he never really changed it during the game, and it's just, it just got worse.
Like a plan A and no plan B sort of thing.
Yeah, it was like that. So I think those are the sort of things he's been learning this year, and he's learning that the Premier League is pretty unforgiving if you don't approach a game right and the mentality's not right and the selection's not right. You can get punished like that. It's in everyone's locker to get beaten like that. So those are the things that hopefully he'll learn from, and it won't happen again. But we'll see.
Interesting. Right, Ian's made it. How are we doing, Ian?
All right. You?
Yeah, you. Very good, man. Good to have you on as always. We're just talking about Brighton's recent form and injury list and stuff like that. Obviously, it's got a lot better, the injury list recently. So it's going to be interesting game. We had our press conference today. There's a few little things that have come out of it. Obviously, Joe Linton is injured till the end of the season now, which is a massive miss for us. Did anyone watch the wrestling? Anyone watch wrestling? You what, sorry?
It was the same as last season.
Yeah, it was, the end of the season, wasn't it? He did the same thing.
We had the contract saga, and then we had his injury, so nobody knew what was going on. Anyway, true. Mike, nice to see you again. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. You?
Good, man. Good.
Good. Nice one.
How hot's it in your back garden, by the way?
It's nice. It's quite pleasant. It's cooling down, but it's really nice. So it's been pretty decent down here today.
Yeah,
that's been lovely.
There's mosquitoes going around.
Mosquitoes down. Listen, mosquitoes down there. We have crows and sparrows and thrushes. You have mosquitoes.
I love it. So Eddie Howe speaking ahead of the press conference before the game on Sunday. We always have a tough game against Brighton, but we haven't beaten them since 2017 at their ground, as we mentioned. Even at home, we've been struggling recently to put them away because they're basically, Eddie Howe says, they're very tight games. Could have gone either way, but we're on the wrong side of them. Unfortunately, we back ourselves against anybody, but we know we'll have to play at our very best. He's right, isn't he, Ian? Because every time we go down to Brighton, we always think, let's just stay positive, let's keep it tight, and then we get a hammering. Yeah.
If you remember our show the last time we played against Brighton when we were at our place, I think we were playing quite well. And I know Mike would turn around and said that they were playing very, very well. They weren't bothered about us at all, and they came and steamrolled us, by the way. So it's always a hard place to go to, Brighton. Every time we've went down there, I think we've struggled. I don't know why, but it's just one of these ones where I don't know if it's because the ground's so close and the fans are on top of the players. It's another Bournemouth type of ground for me, in my opinion, where the fans play a massive part. But do you know what it is? Brighton's got very, very good technical players where on the day they can just turn around and be one of probably, if they can be, they can be one of the best entertaining teams in the Premier League because they've got very, very technical players all around the pitch. They go around and do their job. And you know what it is? The manager, I think he's changed the dynamics of the way Brighton play for the right reasons. I think in time, if they give them time, I think they'll be a very, very, very good team. I really do. Some of the players that they brought through are fantastic. The player that we were linked with, O'Reilly, I'm really looking forward. As much as I don't want him to have a very good game, I'm looking forward to seeing him play and match him up against Tonali. Just how good he is against probably one of the best midfielders in Europe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. Because I think, yes, he came from Celtic, but he got a bad injury straight away. But I think he's suited to the Premier League. I think he's a fantastic player. Obviously, Minter's very fresh to the Premier League, but you can see his qualities, what he brings to you. And Matoma, he can be quiet, and he's like a Salah for me, where he can just bring something like that bang on, and you think, "Oh my God!" So for me, that three across that middle behind Welbeck, if he starts, is so threatening. And you've got a great midfielder that's box to box, can pick it up and pass and play. Mint away, you've got the attacking option, which will give you very, very direct. But he can score goals, but he brings other players into play as well. And Matoma, like I say, I've just repeat myself. He can have a very quiet game and just bring something and push it out the air just like that. So we've got to be very, very wary of that front, like that three guard behind that, the centre forward. Very, very, very good three there. Brilliant.
Before we go on to the rest of the press conference, obviously you mentioned Minter there. I want to speak to Mike about him. What have you made of him since you signed him? It's obviously a big fee for someone who's never played in the Premier League before and came through a year in the Dutch football. And then, we never got to see him play as Newcastle fans, and we were gutted. We had to sell him. Are you pleased with his first season?
I'm pleased with him, but we've only seen glimpses of his talent. So when he's at it, he's brilliant.
Yeah, so basically after what Ian's just said, everyone's in the chat now going, "Oh great, we might as well just fucking not bother turning up on Sunday now."
just the front three, just remember that three which will be Willock, Bruno and Tonali.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a great battle between them three. Sorry, Mike.
No, that's right. I think we've seen glimpses of his talent, but he's been quite inconsistent. But he's young, and I think there's sort of good things to come from him. I think he's a great signing, and he adds something to our squad. To bring him on the pitch or to start him against like fullbacks, like someone like Dan Burn, he's got so much pace. That he will just keep running. He runs forever. But sometimes his end product's not great. But that's something that he developed.
He fluffed one against Leicester, didn't he? We had a very good chance, I remember.
Yeah.
But again, you'll learn from it, though, won't you? This is the thing.
Absolutely. So. I mean, this is the thing with a lot of our players that they're still young and still learning. So. We've got a bit of experience in there. Obviously, Welbeck's, Matoma's a bit more experienced now, and obviously you've got Lewis Dunk. But a lot of them are young and developing talent. So sometimes I think Brighton fans forget, like people like Belieber's only like 21. He's like a young player, and they're raw, but they're only going to get better as time goes on.
Interesting. Right, Joe Linton, the likelihood is that it'll be difficult if we will play again this season. But with Joe, you never know. You can never rule him out. He's obviously a Fornos, and he's just unbelievable. But he's going to be a huge miss in that midfield battle, isn't he? And because, I mean, let's face it, you need someone who's going to get the game by the scruff of the neck sometimes and put himself about. So I don't know, you weren't a massive fan of him at certain stages, but I think you started to realise how much his battling qualities, you need that, especially in a away performance. You do need someone who's going to put themselves about, don't you?
Yeah. Obviously, the critic what I was Joe Linton was his passing ability, which I said.
Yes.
But I would say his last three games from the cup final, I think he's been exceptional. I think he's been brilliant. Everything what he did, I think his all-round play has been world class. Yes, he will be a miss. I still think we need a ball player in our midfield three.
Yeah. But
the blend where you need to change things up for different games, Joe Linton fits the bill. I totally get that. Really do. Yes, he will be a miss. What you'll get now is you'll get a frustrated Newcastle United fan where Willock will come in.
Well, this is what Eddie Howe said of Willock before you quickly go on. This really surprises me.
It certainly isn't. He isn't I know what you're going to say, and it's not.
He says he's like for like replacement for Joe Linton, and I'm like, no, not even close.
Not even close. Joe Willock's running with the ball is better than Joe Linton. He's aggressive and it's not.
No, exactly.
His technical ability with the ball is better than Joe Linton.
Yeah.
His goal threat and goal scoring is better than Joe Linton. But defensively, you will not get anything of the likes what you'll get from Joe Linton.
No, so is it a risk playing Willock in that midfield then?
I don't think you've got anybody else.
Miley to come in?
Because that left-sided balance needs balance, I don't think Miley will give you that. Joe Willock is the best answer what we've got at this present time, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
I really do. And do you know what it is? It's not a bad... in my opinion, when he's missed and he's on song, I think Joe Willock's a brilliant addition to this football club.
Great. Absolutely.
And I thought in glimpses when he was in the last game, I thought he was brilliant at times. Really good. And I think what Joe Willock suffers is I think he lacks a game like a running games.
Yes.
The more game time, Joe, but it's unfortunate because when you've got a midfield three with the formation that will play, one's always going to have to step out. Yeah. And I think because you've got two very, very technical good players with Tonali and Bruno, you need something else. And I think that's where Joe Linton fits the bill.
Yeah.
So that's why Joe Willock will miss quite a few games. Bear in mind, he's been injured quite a bit. So
that's the issue.
To get him up and running to the levels that what quite a few Newcastle United fans believe in, Joe Willock is a fantastic footballer. He's a great footballer. Unfortunately, he's had to just be picked at it and just like partly brought back in to get him up to speed where I don't think we still haven't seen the best of Joe Willock this season.
I agree with that. I don't think we've seen the best of Joe Willock for quite a while, really.
It's been stop-start because obviously injuries, right? But when you bring competition at this football club in a certain area where it's so important, and I still think another midfielder in there on the level of Bruno Tonali will make this football club even go even better. Joe Willock still will play a massive part. Joe Linton will still play a massive part. But when you're contesting in different European competitions, in league formats and cup formats, you need these type of players to step in to keep the level of football at the level what they're training at, because we can't afford to go back where we'll push the first team forward, but when you come to Carabao Cup, no disrespect to the players that's coming in, they're nowhere near the standard of the first team. This has to be a level where when you play your Liverpools, the young ones that's coming through are still nearly as good as breaking the first team. Yeah. We need to be at that level where a Joe Willock comes in or somebody else where a superstar takes a step back, but it doesn't alter the
dynamic of the side and the quality of the
direction
side.
What the club needs to go in.
Yeah,
and this is why I don't get where our fans are so critical of the players coming in, like your Joe Willocks and other players or whatever. You shot Emil Crafts, right?
So underrated.
Emil Crafts played what over 100 international games for Sweden.
Yeah, he's so underrated.
Come on, man! If you play that many games for an international team, it's as good as Sweden. They're not the Faroe Islands or anywhere like that. It's Sweden.
Yeah.
You know, you just have the respect for these players that are so-called fringe players, but the squad players that can step in and do a fantastic job. We've just got to get the balance right where when these bigger players come in, we need these other players to be just as good.
Yeah. Mike, with Joe Linton missing, do you think you've got a better chance of winning that midfield battle?
I think it's going to be a good battle. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a tight battle. I think he's definitely a miss for you, without a doubt. I can't say I'm sad that he's out from our point of view, but it's not like you've got rubbish midfield. Regardless, you've got good midfield. I think where the game might be won and lost more is the wide players. So we've struggled with our fullbacks and the injuries we've had, and we've been playing players out of position. We're starting to get fullbacks back, but it might be like a game too early, and that with players like maybe Anthony Gordon and Barnes like running from the wide positions, that might stretch us and cause us a lot of problems. Then with Isaac, who's an unbelievable striker in the middle, that's always worry. So I'd say more than that 3 is probably wide for me. Is a bit of a worry for me going forward Sunday.
Mike, can I ask you this though?
Yeah,
we don't change that team when you came up to our place, and you were very confident coming to our place. How much of the change of the team, what started at St James's, what's going to start tomorrow on Sunday?
I think
let's make it easier for you. There's the predicted team, if you can see that.
Blimey. I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm a bit.
So you've got Vergbergen in goal, Veltman at right back, Dunk and Hecky at centre backs, Espanian at left back, Belieber and Hazelwood in the middle 3. You've got Minter, O'Reilly, Matoma, and then Welbeck up front. That's the predicted lineup on the app.
It won't be too much different from that. Estupinian to play at left back. Maybe he might start with Ayari rather than O'Reilly in the midfield. He's been liking Ayari, who's again a Swedish international, who's a good player. And it's whether he starts with Minte or Gruder really. So, but I think it'll be very similar to that side. But again, it's the fullback is Veltman's, and Veltman's just come back this week. He's in the squad. Has said that, but it's whether he starts, and if he plays Weaver at right back, who's essentially a holding midfielder, then I think you'll cause us problems.
Right. So in the reverse fixture, you played a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
So you had Ferguson up front with Welbeck. Obviously, Ferguson's no longer at the club. He's on loan out there. You had Rutter, Belieber, Hinselwood. Is it Hinshelwood or how you pronounce it?
Hinshelwood.
Hinshelwood. Araya, is that right?
He won't. He's more likely to play a 4-3-3, so he'll play with 3 up front.
Yeah. Right.
The reason being because Pedro's out. We got no one. We got no other centre forward really. So it's Welbeck or nothing. So he'll play like Matoma, Welbeck, and maybe Minte as like a front 3. And then he'll have like Lieber as a. Yeah, so Dunk's back now. So Duncan,
well, isn't it? Well, Dunk played in the last game. Veltman played in the last game, but they had Julio next to him and that other guy who's just come back from injury that I can't pronounce his name, the Turkish guy, Kajaluku.
Yeah.
So there is quite a few changes here, isn't it? He's injured, isn't he?
Yeah. Julio's just come back, so he won't play. But Estupinion's been playing at left back, so he will play. He might possibly put Hinshelwood at right back because he has played there before. If he does that, I'm a bit more confident than we for playing there. But I like playing Hinshelwood in the midfield. I still think because it's a home game, he'll play a 4-3-3 rather than that sort of one up front.
I think the
because it's a home game. I think it's the way.
Yeah. It was an away game, wasn't it? That's the difference. Obviously, you came to frustrate us and stifle us, didn't you?
Yeah. The one player we've really missed big time is Rutter, because he's been absolutely phenomenal. There's a lot of eyebrows raised when we signed him from Leeds, but he's been unbelievable this season. And when he got injured, a bit of our sort of midfield momentum went. He plays in that 10 role. And he kind of rotated him with Pedro in that 10 role. Pedro's more of a 10 than a 9, I would say, whereas Welbeck's like your classic centre forward. Pedro's not really that sort of player. So with Rutter. Rutter played in that role, but since he got injured, it went on to Pedro. And then, as we know, Pedro did the stupid elbow against Brentford and has basically cost us a couple of games. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But like I say, we spoke about that earlier. He's got that in his locker, and it's something he's going to have to get out of his game.
Yeah, absolutely. The good news for us, Ian, is that Sven Botman's come through training really well. He looks really good. He won't start, obviously, at the weekend, but isn't it great to have him back as a boost? Great.
That's what we want. And I think it's nice to come back now, just to get the minutes under his belt, just to do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then have a really great pre-season. Pre-season's massive to football, massive, and he's had a horrible injury, and he's had another operation on the other one, and for him to be back this quick is great. I don't think Eddie Howe or Jason Tindall will ever risk him to start unless it's an absolute emergency. But like I say, pre-season is going to be massive for this football club on and off the football field. Sven Botman's going to have a huge pre-season, and next season for us, we've got another world-class centre-half coming back. Brilliant. We have missed Sven Botman.
Sort of off track a little bit. I saw like an article where you were linked with like our centre-half and Hecker. What would you say you need Newcastle to take you to that next level? Where do you think your main recruitment should be?
Oh, I think it's quite easy, isn't it, Ian? It's a new goalkeeper, a right centre back, and a right winger.
Yeah.
All down that right.
1,000,000% a goalkeeper. A right-sided centre back, which is a young one, and a right winger, which is
Bueno.
Well, I don't know about that one.
I'd love him if he'd come, but
not what I've seen the last 2 weeks.
Oh, I thought he was good against Forest.
Not the info I've had for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Again, but it's the big price tag, isn't it? But yeah, they're the free sort of positions, Mike. And then we need potentially a second striker, which isn't going to be easy to get in.
The info I got about the centre forward thing, it's going to be another one where it's last ditch if it's an emergency,
right?
Like the Isak deal. Do you know when Madison fell through?
Yeah,
it's going to be like that.
Right.
The main focus is going to be goalkeeper, right side centre half, and the right winger.
Right.
The centre forward, because there's still talks about Callum Wilson extending his contract.
That's such a bad idea.
And it's the Asula thing as well. We know it's a bad idea, Baz, and things have got to move forward. However, he hasn't signed it yet.
This is true.
The thing. He hasn't signed that yet. So the Asula project ticks a box like the Lewis Hall, Tilo Livramento, because you've got to remember Tilo Livramento was in and out the side, Lewis Hall was in and out the side.
But he's playing Asula as a right winger, though. This is the thing. He's not playing him as a centre forward.
But I think, but Tino was playing as a left back. He's not a left back. He's a right back.
Yeah.
Tino was playing in midfield. Lewis Hall was playing midfield. He was pushing at the centre midfield at times just to fill gaps where they're getting experience. But how can you? I still don't get at times where Isak's took off and Callum Wilson comes on and Sula doesn't get a sniff, but he's making him sit on his arse and watch and realise what's going on. This is the Premier League. He's done exactly the same with Lewis Hall. And Baz, we were on a show going, what's Lewis Hall got to do to get in this football team?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I found out that Chelsea were going to recall him and get him back.
No, they couldn't. No, could they?
No, but this is how desperate times were going. Where and we were going, and then he came on. He just looked nothing. But now look at him. He's played for England.
Oh, he's quality. We always knew he was quality. He was just he wasn't fit enough, was he?
That's down to one man. That's Eddie Howe. So exactly. As much as you think Asula's not doing the business when he's there, or he's not pushed on into a certain position, you've got to trust the man that's at the top.
Oh, of course you do. I just don't. Yeah, it's just personal opinion on the player himself. When I watch his touch and I watch what he does with his movement, I just don't see. He's very raw. That's the problem, and it's whether he can develop or not, and that's down to whether Eddie Howe can make that happen. So it's
he hasn't had a pre-season at Newcastle United.
Has he not? I thought he signed quite. Did he sign quite late in the window? I can't remember.
But he hasn't had a real pre-season.
Yeah, real proper season. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
That's what I'm saying. So when these boys get down to work with him, with Eddie and Jason in the summer,
yeah,
I think you judge Asula next season.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The ruthlessness of where we're going is he doesn't have a lot of time to get it right, does he? That's the thing. He's got to hit the ground running next season. Otherwise, people are going to think, well, he's we're better off getting 15, 20 million back for him or something like that. So we'll see what happens with him.
But if we're only going to bring in 3 players, because financial fair play still plays a part, by the way, which people still think, but it's got this massive chest, what we'll go, but we can't. Yeah. So if we go down the route of signing a goalkeeper, a right side centre half, and a right winger, Asula stays. He stays. Because you've got to remember, we're in Europe, no matter what.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, this is where Callum Wilson signing a new contract, if we don't get in the Champions League, would be sort of beneficial, because we could.
So if you go away to Romania on a Thursday night, freezing cold, would you play Asula or Callum Wilson?
Play them both. The rest of everybody else.
Would you play Isak, or would you? So if you've got Man United on a Sunday, see, we've got Man United or Liverpool on a Sunday or a Monday night because we're in Europe. Would you play Isak on the Thursday, or would you play Callum Wilson?
Well, you'd play on the Thursday. You'd play Callum Wilson.
Maybe you're away, freezing cold, snowing.
Yeah.
Who would you play? Isak with gloves on, or Callum Wilson?
Callum Wilson.
Callum Wilson all day long. Or would you play Asula?
Or Asula, one of the two.
So this is what people's got to think about when you're in a European competition. It's all about the big. Do you know? Will Jamal Lascelles get released? Because I know I would rather play Jamal Lascelles away in Romania.
Yeah.
Than Fabian Schär. I'll play Dan Burn and Jamal Lascelles as 2 centre halves, because you know what you're going to get off them two, and they'll get you a result.
Yeah.
So this is what you've got to think about, rather than all these superstars coming in at this present time. You've got to think about this football club might be in a horrible European competition where you need these kind of players.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It all depends on what competition we're in. Let's have a look at our potential lineup. Well, we know what the lineup will be. It'll definitely be this: Pope, Bernshard, Trips, and Tino, Tonali, Bruno, and Willock, Murphy, Gordon, and Isak. I mean, Murphy's been absolutely outstanding this season. He got the Seller Player of the Month. I mean, looking at the team, I can't think of anything else other than that. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough against Brighton. It really is. Mike, who are you more afraid of in that team? Actually, Gordon might not even start. It might be Barnes. I would put Gordon in personally, though. I think he needs to come back in. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I would. Yeah, Gordon for me is like such a could be the main one, but I really like Bruno. I think he's such a quality player, and if he's on it, then he can cause us real problems in that midfield. But like I said to you, I think wide is where you're going to give us issues, and that's where Anthony Gordon might cause us problems down that side.
Yeah, but that's just why I thought Gordon instead of Barnes, because Gordon's quicker, and Barnes is no slouch. Don't get me wrong, but if you're going to play someone who's maybe not as quick down the right, or is not as settled as a right back, I think Gordon could terrorise them, to be fair. Ian, would you prefer Barnes or
if you
Gordon?
saw...
Sorry, go on, Mike.
No, go on, sorry.
I was going to say, like, Ian, who would you prefer, Gordon or Barnes, to play on the left at the moment? I know
the recent form, you can't take Barnes out of it. He's got to start, and it's the same as Murphy. Recent form, he's got to start.
Yeah.
I think the only change, like I think Willock will obviously Willock will start, but I think the rest of it picks itself. I think it'd be very, very harsh off Harvey Barnes, where when you ask a player to come in and step up and take a chance, I think he's took his chance. And if you're asking a player to come in and say, look, come in and do this for me, there's your chance, take it. And then all of a sudden, because Gordon's back breathing on you and go, wow, just because Anthony Gordon, he's done all right for half the season, and then just he's back in. He knocks Harvey Barnes' confidence right in, and I just don't get it. You earn
the shirt, don't you? And that, but is Gordon the better player? That's
we know
because they're both excellent, aren't they?
We all know Gordon's a better player. We all know that. But just because you're the better player, you still deserve to sit your arse on the bench, because Harvey Barnes has stepped up.
Yeah.
He's stepped up, right, and he deserves to play. And until, in my opinion, Anthony Gordon gets a chance again, which games is running out, he sits on his arse like every other player does. Players just don't have the goddamn right to start just because of their name.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just it's trying to figure out how to win at Brighton for the first time since 2017.
But if you go on form, Harvey Barnes ticks the box before Anthony Gordon.
Yeah. On current form, yeah, I do agree.
On current form, so why would you take a player out that's on form, that's scoring goals, creating goals? He looks more one of our better attacking players going forward. He beats a man, he gets a cross in. His defensive players very, very good, scores goals, being one of our best players. So why would you take him out?
Was he excellent against Ipswich, though? I mean, I didn't get to see the full game, but what I saw of it, I wasn't...
I can't comment on the Ipswich game because I didn't see most of it. So, but the games that I've watched, apart from that, I think Harvey Barnes has probably been one of our star man.
Yeah.
He's been up there one of the best. So you can't take a player out that's in form. You cannot. You can't do it. You can't. In certain areas where you've got less, like our midfield three picks itself, because you've got Sean Longstaff in the background. You've got young Lewis Miley. They accept the rule. But when you down the sides, you've got very, very little players to pick from. And when they're on form, you need to keep them in, because, like Mike says, it's very, very important areas what Newcastle United play, and it's always down the sides. It's either from fullback to midfielder, or it comes from your midfield to your wingers outside.
Yeah.
So when them players are in form out wide, it's so important. I mean, look at Jacob Murphy. Last season, couldn't hit a barn door. Almiron had a wonder season. Right? Anthony Gordon down the left-hand side was on fire. Absolutely brilliant. So everything came down the left-hand side. It's different now. Jacob Murphy's hit a really, really big... I would say I've never seen him play like on his life.
I agree. He hasn't.
Well, it's
his peak.
A peak what he's never even believed he could do. He's playing crosses in first time. He's picking players out. He's doing great. You're on. So reverse the question there, Baz. You're on about taking Barnes out for Gordon. You've got to take one of them out, so you put Gordon in.
Yeah.
Would you change Murphy for Barnes? Because that's the way Eddie Howe's changing his substitutions. If you'd notice, he's bringing Gordon on that side, on his left side.
Yeah.
He's taking Murphy off and bringing Barnes over on there. And if you've noticed,
right side,
right, our the way we're playing. We look very disjointed. We look very unorganised. He's filling holes because he's keeping the best players on the pitch. So why should that happen?
He's keeping the best players on the pitch, but he's also resting players who have given so much through the whole season. If you remember, Murphy hardly ever gets taken off normally, and I think that's the reason why. That's why he keeps taking Murphy off to, protect him a little bit as well, because he is our only right winger. And one of them's got to play on the right, Barnes or Gordon, if Murphy's not going to be there. So they also need the practice to be over there as well, don't they? So it's a tough one, because I would not drop Murphy on his current form for Asula, who is potentially the next right winger, or for Barnes or Gordon, because we know they just don't perform on that side.
But you potentially would drop Barnes for Gordon because Gordon's a better player. But
because they're both great on that left-hand side. Because they're both great on that left-hand side. That's why. So you've got to pick one of them, haven't you? You've got to make a decision. And I think Gordon, England
all day long.
Yeah,
I think since Gordon's came back, when he's came off the bench, he's looked a shadow of himself.
We can't beat Arsenal 3 times this season. We have beat Arsenal 3 times this season. We beat them at St James's Park twice and at the Emirates once. We could beat them 4 times this season. It's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see who starts on Sunday for us on the left-hand side, because Gordon will be chomping at the bit. He will feel he want to be back in the team, won't he? So Eddie Howe's got a dilemma, which, let's face it, in the past couple of years, how many times have we talked about dilemmas when it comes to picking a starting 11? It picked itself. So it's nice to be able to have these conversations for a change.
Yeah.
Right. Couple of bit of insights. Newcastle are winless in all 7 of their away Premier League games against Brighton. Drawn 4, lost 3. The joint most they have visited an opponent in the competition without ever winning. Also 7 against Watford. Wow. In Wimbledon, we struggled to beat them away from home. Of course, we can remember those days when we couldn't beat Wimbledon away from home. Same as Southampton at the Dell. That used to drive me nuts. Following their 1-0 win in October, Brighton could complete their 3rd league double over Newcastle. This is what I keep saying, Mike, you're a bogey team. Brighton have already beaten Newcastle twice in all competitions this season. You obviously beat us in the FA Cup, so you could beat us for a 3rd time this season. I still think we were robbed in that FA Cup. VAR should never have been brought in. The automated offside should never have been brought in. We would have been home and hosed in that 94th minute when Shard scored. But no, they had to bring in the technology when it went against us. Terrible. Terrible decision.
Now the lights have gone out. No, guys.
Gutted. Newcastle United won 19 Premier League matches this season and are looking to win 20 in the season for the first time since 2002-2003 under Sir Bobby Robson, where we won 21 times. Obviously, we've won 20 out of the last 26 games. We are one of the form teams. There's only Liverpool who have won more games than us this season. But we've struggled to grind out points when we've needed to. That's why we've lost 5 games in the last 20. We've lost 6 in the last 26, haven't we? Winning 20 of them. So it's very interesting. Our injury list is the same as what I expected it to be, but we've got 3 left backs all injured. Crazy. Head-to-head records: Brighton 3, 1 draw, Newcastle win in the last 5. That is home and away. The referee, Craig Parson. Were you a fan of Craig Parson, Mike?
I'm struggling to think of what games he's done for us this year. So the ones I tend to remember are the ones that have been a bit controversial. Anthony Taylor was a bit rubbish this year. So I tend to remember those ones. So the fact that I can't remember him probably means he wasn't that bad when he's refereed us.
It says a little bit. I'm not a fan of Craig Parson, Ian.
There's not many referees we are fans of, to be honest.
Very true. Well, this is these stats in a nutshell.
We've had this conversation, and the standard of refereeing is just so bad this season. It is shocking.
How many times do you come off after a game and go, that referee was very good today?
Yeah, I know. It's just, and I think West Ham on Saturday was first time for ages I haven't spoken about referee. Like, you know, even when we've won, the referee's been awful. You know, but that game was the first time for ages I didn't say. He didn't really do anything controversial, and it's all the decisions were the right decisions, and it was a bit refreshing to have that. But I know that's the same for everyone. It's not just us. So I'm not just saying, you know, for us, it's everyone this year has had a share of really bad refereeing. And the standard
I just think the referees have got too many rules to follow now, and too many little things, and it's the same as everything. They just totally complicate things. Where back in the day, where it was just it was a foul, it was out, this, that, the other.
I think there's that. I think there's also a laziness, like because they got VAR.
Yeah,
they know so they don't make decisions, and it's infuriating. And then when they're on VAR, they make the wrong decisions. It's like,
well, this is what I was about to say. Even when the referee gets the decision right, Bournemouth, Man United, they get sent to a screen and they end up changing the decision to a wrong one.
Absolutely. So, and we've all been on the receiving end of that this year.
Yes.
So
it's crap. I mean, this referee, 29 games, 112 yellow cards, 5 red cards.
I actually think you're playing us at a good time for you because the fact that we're only just getting players back, and Joel Linton is a massive miss, but it's a good time to play. We were very open against West Ham, and if we are that open against you lot, we're in danger of getting like well beaten, you know. So I think it's a good time for you to play us. Were you playing us next week or the week after? It might be a bit different with those players a bit further along the line. So I'm less confident this time than I was when we went to Newcastle.
This is the question I want to ask you before, is because obviously the reverse fixture at St James's Park. When we had the podcast before the game at home, you were very, very confident coming up to St James's to turn us over, and you were rightly you were rightly to do that because you turned us over. So it's interesting to hear you say the way you're playing, or you're wide open, that with the way we are playing, we're going to come to you and actually beat us on your home ground, which is very, very rare to hear a home fan say that.
I mean, I will back my team because, like, I'm going to do that, but I'm more worried than if we were playing you, like I say, before the international break, or I was playing you in 2 weeks' time. I'll be more confident with players we're getting back. I just think we've got a lot of players playing out of position, and Dunk is not the player he was, without a doubt. He's a real dip of form. Last Saturday was his best game for like ages.
Is Dunk lost without Webster beside him?
I think he's just lost pace, and I think Hurstler plays such a high line that he struggles with that at times. So once you get behind him, he just hasn't got the pace to catch him. He's never blessed with great pace anyway, but I think the high line he struggles with, and that's and on the fact that he's not getting any younger, it's sad to see because he's such a legend for us. But he's definitely on the backward sort of end of his career. You know, the next two years is probably going to be the end of Lewis Dunk, sadly. But that's, you know, he'll be playing a few games a season rather than playing virtually the whole of the season. He's struggling with injuries. But yeah, so I think that's it. The way Hurstler plays, he plays a very it's almost like numbers, aggressive, trying to overload in the area, but then you get caught on the counter, which has happened a few times, and that's my one worry with players that are not used to playing that out of position and leaving us exposed in wide areas when you lot come. So I think that's why I say that I think you're playing us at a good time, and that'd be my one reservation. So if I come back on you and you beating us 2 or 3-0, I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry, the light keeps going.
Yeah, that's fine.
I wouldn't be surprised. So,
well then,
so not as confident as I was. Definitely not.
This brings me back to how we used to play. We used to play on the counter-attack. We used to allow teams to have the ball a lot more. And obviously, Eddie Howe's tried to change our philosophy and having a lot more of the ball, trying to break teams down. I think going to Brighton on Sunday, we need to reverse back to what we were good at, which was battling hard and missing the midfield out a little bit and looking for those channels down the left, down the right, and down the middle with the pace we've got. And that could be the way to beat Brighton. Basically, do what you do to us at St James's Park, we do to you back at the Amex. So that'll be interesting. Right, let's have a quick look at the table, then we'll get some predictions. So obviously we sit in fourth as it stands because Man City are winning 1-0 at the moment. So we have a chance to then leapfrog back above them on 65 points. Forest obviously losing last night was brilliant, but they're still level games and they're only 2 points behind us. And then Villa are 5 points behind us, level games. You guys sit on 51 points. And there is still a carrot dangling for you guys because if you can catch Villa somehow, and they're not in great form at the moment, and Forest are dropping like flies, Chelsea is scraping results, it could go down to 7 for a European place. So you've still got a slim outside chance of getting a European spot.
I mean, my one sort of nightmare scenario is we finish 7th and then Palace win the FA Cup because not only will they throw us at us forever, they will knock us out of getting into Europe. So
it could be 8th. It could actually go down to 8th, thinking about it, because if we finish in the Champions League, we won the Carabao Cup, so it could go down to 8th.
It very well could be, and that would be all right. Although Brentford put themselves right back in it last night, so so it's not going to be easy. Our running's a bit brutal in some ways because we've got Wolves away who are like in form at the moment. I know they're getting beaten today, but they're one of the sort of most informed teams. We then got Liverpool, who admittedly have won the title, but still not going to be easy. And then we end with Spurs away. Spurs are very Spursy, and it depends. They're going to probably, hopefully, be in that conference final, which might.
Well, they're in a great position, aren't they, for that? So that'll definitely play in your favour.
Yeah, so that'll benefit us. But it's very tight, the runnings. When you look at all the teams, quite difficult fixtures coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Chelsea after you guys, Arsenal away as well.
Yeah, I know.
It's good.
I actually think that for us, next season is the season that I would expect him to do something a bit better, a bit special. And like that's what a year more experience and some of our players a bit more experienced and injury free, and a bit of wise recruitment in there, because we're going to lose some players without a doubt, and we're going to have to replace those players. So
who are Chelsea taking?
Yeah, well, they're linked with Rutter, to be honest.
There we go.
Yeah, they're linked with Rutter. You're linked with Van Hecker, and Liverpool and Man City are linked with Belieber. So if all of them go, then we've got a big recruitment.
It's a big haul, isn't it? Yeah, it's a big haul. You know, I obviously said a couple of weeks ago, Champions League football is definitely done. We don't need to worry about it. Chelsea, when I said that last year, Chelsea completely screwed us and went on a run and leapfrogged us. It could happen again after putting my foot in my mouth, but I still think we're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine. I really do.
I think I saw Chelsea's running, and it's not easy.
It's not.
So I think you should be sort of semi-confident that you're going to get that.
I'm still really confident. But it's me putting my foot in my mouth, though.
Yeah. I know. We've done it. We do it every year back. We say to Palace, we're going to finish above you, and then they finish above us. You know, so it's like, what the hell?
One game at a time.
One game at a time. That's the way to look at it. But it's
one game at a time. Yeah. Don't start putting points and where would finish or.
Oh, I'm not. It's looking good. It's looking good.
Right. If you look at Nottingham Forest fixtures going in, you go, they've got the easiest run in, and you go, yeah, they're definitely going to finish above us. Brentford just pulled a great result out of the bag.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
So, and I mean, we've got Brighton.
That's teams beating teams around each other, which is great in a way. Because
obviously we've got Brighton, Chelsea,
Arsenal.
Arsenal, Everton.
Yeah.
Right? Potentially we could lose all three of them.
Let's not go there.
No.
One game at a time. One game at a time, you just said.
Potentially, because you are playing.
Arsenal will be on the beach because they'll be thinking about the Champions League.
Do you think
Yeah,
so?
they'll be thinking about
No
Champions League.
chance.
They're not bothered about the Premier League.
No
Don't
chance.
worry about
Why
that.
do we think that? Because we think them this season in the league, in the cup,
Champions League semi-final, getting one over Newcastle.
Go ahead.
Champions League semi-final,
Go ahead.
getting one over Newcastle.
Just remember, they were 1,000 times better than us in St James's Park. We walloped them under the lights. We've dinked them in the cup, right? He won't
I'm looking at the bigger picture. He will want to rest players for that Champions League game.
No chance.
I'm telling you now, he will.
He won't.
If they're still in the competition, I don't know. But let's wait and see. Right, very quickly, we're going to go around and get some predictions, but we'll get John's first because John kindly recorded his.
Welcome to a very sunny Skegness. It's me, JC. Hope everybody's good. Hope you've had a productive weekend that, and that it's been good. So prediction for a game on Sunday, Brighton. Tough game. They're a good team. They're disciplined. I think their season is pretty petered out almost. So I know we've got some injuries, Joe Linton, for example, but I'm going for 2-0 to the Toon. And keep that march on. I think it's imperative that we keep going, obviously with the Forest losing last night, so I think it's imperative that we keep going and keep that push on for Europe. So have fun, guys. I'll hopefully catch you on the review show and we'll go from there. Cheers, bye bye.
John, fresh out of school. You'll kill me for that. Mike, what's your prediction?
I'm going for a very subjective 2-1. So to us,
I like it.
Yeah,
you've got to be confident. You're going to the game.
I'm going to back us coming back off a little win against West Ham, which will give us confidence. Belieber back in the centre of midfield, so I'm hoping that will be enough to just swing it in our favour. But I do worry about the width. But yeah, 2-1.
We've got to use that width. That's the thing, though. It's winning that midfield battle to allow us to win, then get the ball out wide. Let's see what happens. Ian?
Yeah, 1-1.
Ooh, 1-1. So I've gone down the route of sort of like Mike, thinking that these players are just coming back from injury. They're not fully match fit, and I'm hoping that's going to have an effect in our advantage. It might not, because sometimes it doesn't work like that, but I'm going the opposite way of 2-1 to us, to what Mike. And I think it's about time we get one over them at their ground. First time since 2017 it'll be if we beat them, and I think we can do it. And Welbeck is a danger, but if they had Welbeck and Pedro, I'd be a lot more worried. I just think we might just have that edge because we've had a good week. We're only missing one player where you guys are getting a lot of players back, and I think that match sharpness could just be our advantage. Fingers crossed. Yeah, but again, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a draw, though. To be fair, it wouldn't surprise me. I'd probably take a point. If someone offered me a point now, and with the way the league situations are,
I'll probably be the same, to be honest.
It's not often we get draws. Will there be a watch along? It depends if I can get up in time, because I'm on night shift on Saturday night going into Sunday. So it's a 2 p.m. kickoff. So it's not a lot of sleep time, and I need to catch up on some sleep. I really do. I'm knackered. But thank you, Mike, as always, for coming on. You didn't actually freeze once tonight. The sound went off a little bit sometimes, but you didn't freeze and you didn't drop out. I'm shocked.
It's garden street way forward.
They must be upgrading from dial-up to maybe getting your normal line cable or whatever it is.
I fed the hamster.
You fed the hamster. I love it. Ian, thank you as always as well.
Ian, you've gone darker than me. Your room's darker.
He has. Yeah, what's going on?
What's happening?
It's really tan. That's who we tan.
Brilliant. Hopefully I'll be doing the watch on, but we are definitely doing the review show on Sunday night because 2 o'clock kickoff. That gives us plenty of time to soak in what's happened and get ready to do a review show. So Sunday at 8 p.m. Because I'm back at work Monday day shift after Saturday night shift. So that's going to be fun turnaround. So I want to be done in bed and ready for another 4 grueling days at work. Yay! But let's hope we win it. Let's hope we do it. Sorry, Mike, but we need this win. And let's just see what happens. I'll quickly just shout out the usual sponsors that I haven't done yet, which I apologize for. So Diacro, absolutely amazing guys. Code BAZ20 for 20% off. Link is in the description. The 2 winners of the $40 gift card, they should have the emails by now, so you can go and buy what you want. Don't forget about Jan's art as well. Amazing stuff. Link is in the description below. It's got a tour bus one, which is fantastic. And please save the date, 3rd of August. It's free to come along to the game. It's not going to cost you a penny, but to get into the ground. But when you're in there, please be generous with raffle tickets and tombolas and buying drinks and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be an amazing day. We're hoping to smash the $3,500 that we raised last year. And we do have hopefully a massive announcement on Sunday if everything goes well. And if the announcement is what I hope it's going to be, you'll want to come down to the ground to watch and join in and bring some shirts and a pen. There's a little hint. But thank you, everyone, and we'll see you again on Sunday. Ta-da!